All right, next one. When rebuilding expired domains to use as an iFrame for a tier 1 CloudStack page, is it necessary to host the expired domain through a cloud host like Cloudboss via S3 as Bradley demonstrated, or can I host it on my standard hosting platform where I have other domains already? Yeah, you can. You can host it on your like an existing host that you have. That's fine. But keep in mind, you want, if you're going to do a lot of that, you need IP diversity. That's the problem with having a single web host, like, you know, WPX or whatever. That's the WordPress host that I use, WPX. Love it. Terry Kyle owns that. He's the same guy that owns Cloudboss. Terry Kyle's a legend in the SEO industry, for those of you who have been around for a minute. So the point that I'm trying to make is, if you have whatever your host, I don't care if it's HostGator, God forbid, God help you all if you're using something like HostGator, but if you are, you can host those HTML pages there, but you're not going to have IP diversity. They're all going to be the same IP. Now you can integrate with Cloudflare, and now you're going to get an IP that is used by millions of other websites, or, you know, each Cloudflare account you get is going to give you, if you set up multiple Cloudflare accounts with different email addresses, then you're generally going to get different name servers, which are different IP blocks or ranges within Cloudflare. The idea about using Cloudflare, though, is you're hiding by using their reverse proxies, their IPs, essentially. You're hiding in the middle of a big crowd. There are millions of websites hosted on IPs, Cloudflare IPs, right? Because there's millions of websites using Cloudflare. So that's actually good, because you're hiding in the middle of a crowd. So you can integrate a traditional regular host, which is going to be one IP, with various Cloudflare accounts and get IP diversity that way. Does that make sense? But the reason why that I talk about using Cloudboss, which is, again, Terry Kyle's product, smshort.link/ or /Cloudboss, just to show you, smshort.link/ Cloudboss. All right. So why I like this is because for $50 a month, you get 100 HTML. Well, you get 100 slots in rack space. So you can host 100 HTML sites in rack space for $49 per month. Does that make sense? So is that 50 cents per HTML site per month? It's very inexpensive. I'm on the 500 site account now, and I'm probably going to have to get another account because we're approaching that already. But I also like this because but with Rackspace, you only get 5 IPs. There's 5 data centers, but Rackspace integrates, it's automatic. You don't have to do this. Rackspace is integrated with Akamai, which is very similar to Cloudflare. It's not the same, but it's similar. I think it's called Akamai right here. Yeah, it's this right here. It's like Cloudflare. It's not the same. You don't have to do any of this. This is automatically integrated with Rackspace and Cloudboss. So there is similar to Cloudflare in that there are IP blocks that Akamai uses. So you get 5 data centers within Rackspace. There's a 6th data center in the UK, but you have to have a separate UK account for that. So my point is, you get some IP diversity with just Rackspace alone using Cloudboss. But then it also integrates with Amazon S3, and Amazon S3 has 16 data centers. That's 16 unique IPs. And Amazon S3 integrates with Cloudflare. Rackspace does not. So by having Cloudflare integration with Amazon S3, now you can significantly multiply the number of IPs that you have from the 16 S3 data centers. So for example, if you have 10 Cloudflare accounts and you have 16 data centers in S3, now you have 16 IPs, and now you have 10 Cloudflare accounts that you can duplicate. So you can essentially have 176 IPs from one S3 account using Cloudboss. Does that make sense? So that's, again, 10 Cloudflare accounts, one S3 account can give you 176 IPs. So it's why I like to use Cloudboss, because it's very inexpensive. If you're going to be doing this kind of link building, guys, come join the mastermind where I teach exactly how to do all of this. Like, it's crazy. I teach exactly what I do in my link building business to our mastermind members. And then 80% of the time they say, oh, that's awesome. Will you build my links for me? Yes, I will. So, but if you want to learn how to do all that, again, that's what the mastermind is for. So, and I teach everything there. So, but IP diversity is still important. It's not as important as it was 5 years ago because of things like Cloudflare and because of Amazon's proliferation, like just taking over the web. But it is still important to have you don't want, 10 redirects coming from the same IP to your money site, right? Especially to your money site. Like you don't want to do that. And again, I also don't recommend doing redirects or meta refreshes directly to your money site. You can do it to cloud pages, to cloud stacks or cloud stack pages all day long. That's fine. But I do not like to do a bunch of redirects to a money site because that raises a red flag. Okay. It's unnatural.